Hi, everyone. My name is Kay. Today, I'm going to share how to leverage AI to revolutionize your learning and development environment. I'm going to share how to create a learning platform for new hires at your company without any team support or budget using AI. And I'm just going to kind of walk through what I'm presenting. It will be two parts today. So I'll have the slides for one portion, and then I created a classroom using iSpring Learn that will show how to really bring these concepts to life. So I'm going to share how to utilize GPT to draft your initial course outlines focused on your industry's key topics. I'm going to share prompting techniques and things that you should be aware of, ideas on how to generate content. And because we only have 30 minutes, I'll just quickly go over looking at the custom GPTs. And here we go. For the walkthrough portion, I'm going to show how iSpring can, integrate with the AI content that you create. So share how to break down the products and services into manageable modules, employing iSpring as a central repository for learning and company materials, which was a use case that I thought was really interesting and I wasn't expecting when I first started using iSpring. Transforming extensive recordings into concise modular learning content with the help of AI, and adopting instructional design concept to ensure that your content remains fresh, relevant, and authentic. And I know April from iSpring really liked this one, so stay tuned. So today, attendees will gain insights into the innovative strategies for leveraging AI tools to develop and structure L&D content, practical tips for maintaining the relevance and authenticity of your learning materials, techniques for enhancing cross-departmental collaboration and breaking down those information silos that are pain points in a lot of companies, and then methods to create dynamic, engaging learning environment. And finally, I come with gifts. So I'm going to share 3 of my favorite AI newsletters. This industry's been around for a little bit, but it's moving at such a rapid pace lately. These newsletters are really great. They keep up with a lot of the changes that are happening like day to day. And then this is kind of a trend right now. Everybody's sharing their list of words that are a dead giveaway that something was written with AI. And I'll get into this a little bit more shortly. I'll say there is a stigma out there that some people have where they feel like if anything's written with AI, they want to immediately dismiss it. And that's really not the viewpoint that I have. My issue is not so much that something is written with AI. I assume that a lot of things are supported by AI to write them, or if not entirely. And I think in the next, 1 to 3 years, a lot of things are just going to be solely using AI. I'm going to just say is that the thing that I'm more, or that I care more about is who's prompting it, because that's really ultimately what matters when you're creating content with AI. So here is a screen grab of this fictitious company that I came up with, New Frontier AI. And congratulations to everybody attending today. You've all been hired to my new company. So I'm going to walk you through what a new hire experience is with the classroom content. And so once again, just to reiterate what I said earlier, I'm going to share some prompting techniques, things you should be aware of, ideas on how to generate content, and then quickly just discussing some of the custom GPTs that are available, especially in an L&D capacity. So before I read this prompt suggestion out loud, I just want to go back to me saying it's really about people who are prompting AI, because I think that really matters. And so when I share this prompt idea, the output that I'll get from something like GPT might be different for me than it is for you or for anyone else. Or even if I put this same prompt back to back, I could get a completely different output. And so really, as you're prompting it, it's not that you at least should just like ask it one time and then take the exact thing that it gives you at face value. You should follow up with additional prompting to really hone the content that you're trying to create. And it's kind of like kneading the dough. So you want to follow up with additional prompts as well. I don't know if you've read some articles where you're going through it and you're, looking at it and you're like, okay, clearly AI has played some part in writing this article. It's extremely verbose. However, the article's not really, it almost seems like 4 different trains of thought, and it's not very cohesive. that to me indicates that probably the person that was prompting just kind of took the first kind of output that it gave and then just ran with it, as opposed to really like curating and tweaking that content by following up with additional prompts. Okay, so the outline prompt idea that I have is to say, scan the following website, which is your company's website, and create an outline for a learning and development classroom to train new employees who are new to your industry, your company's culture, and your company's products or services. And I think this is a really great idea because, as you've heard from other speakers, continuously throughout this conference, they stress the importance of not putting proprietary information into AI tools or platforms. And I definitely agree with that. As much as we're learning from AI, AI is learning from us. So it's important to make sure that your company's data is protected. But I think this is a really clever way to come up with content for the classroom, because anything on a company website is already public facing. It's already been approved. So it's already kind of out there. So I would hope, a company website wouldn't have anything proprietary on there. So I think it's a safe bet. And of course, always check with your company before doing so. But your company's website has a lot of useful resources on there. Your company's history and timeline, core values, maybe some white papers or articles, who are your partners, your products. It's a lot of good content to create outlines for your classroom for new hires to learn. So I'll show you in the next slide kind of what that looks like. I did it for iSpring, and it gave me kind of this really cool idea for the outline. And then when you're ready to build actual modules, if you like certain sections that it provides, you can ask it to expand on that particular section and keep expanding and expanding until you get enough information that you need to create the module. And then a couple of tips that I have is, if you do decide to generate the content for your modules using AI, ask it to use real, reputable online sources and link them throughout your work. And so from when I use GPT, what I noticed, it does one of two things. It either will footnote it, and it will put the number after the areas where it used online sources, and then it has the link to that source, or it will give the output, and then at the end of the output, it will give the links to all of the online sources that it used. And this is really great because, as somebody who's responsible for creating informational or educational content, you do have a responsibility to check those sources and make sure that they're legitimate sources, and also that the output that, whatever chatbot or AI that you're using is actually matching with those sources. So it's really a helpful, prompt for you. And then I have this pre and post. So I've heard this a few times already during this conference. AI can have the tendency to hallucinate. So simply ask it, do not hallucinate. And that doesn't guarantee it won't. But what you can do is, once it gives the output, you can ask it again, did you hallucinate any part of your work? Because when I was building out the classroom, I noticed that sometimes when I was checking these sources, like the links, some of the things it would say were a little bit off from what the source was saying. So that's why I would just follow up and ask it, did you hallucinate any part of your work? And I typically found most of the time it was okay, but every now and again it would say, well, I didn't hallucinate here, but I did hallucinate on these parts of it. And so then you, as a responsible prompter that you are, will then go back and forth with it to then fix that. Okay. So here is a screen grab of kind of what this would look like if you ask it to create an outline for new employees at your company. And so this is kind of what it looked like for iSpring. And what's really great about this is, once again, if you want to, tweak this to fit what your company needs, then you can simply ask it to, keep certain sections, remove certain sections, or add in additional sections. And then you're really just kind of continuously building what you need for your classroom. And then just lightly about the custom GPTs that are available. There are some custom instructional design and learning and development GPTs, and these are really great because they're curated specifically for like this task, right? So it kind of has this, pre-built kind of, I guess like a framework that then you can build modules with. And what I like about some of the instructional design ones that I played around with is they'll explain why they structure things in a certain way, or if you ask it to do like a Q&A or questions at the end of your module, it will explain why it selected particular questions and why it's relevant to your module. So I just thought that was really cool. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show what this would then, when you're kind of going in depth to those bullet points, this is now what it looks like. You can come in and you can create all of these modules based on those bullet points. And so I will show you in a moment what that looks like in the classroom. Okay. When we go into the classroom, I'm just going to share how to break down your products and services into manageable modules, how to employ iSpring as a central repository for learning and your company materials, transforming extensive recordings into concise modular learning content with the help of AI, and then adopting an instructional design concept to ensure that your content remains fresh, relevant, and authentic because you have the framework, you're putting all this work into building your content. How do you manage and maintain that and make sure that it's still relevant? So I'm going to try to share classroom now. Hopefully this works. Okay. Hopefully you can see me, and if you can't see the screen, let me know. Chris, can you see?
Yeah,
good.
We can. All good.
Amazing. Okay, so you are now in the classroom. And like I said, I used GPT just to kind of create this concept of like things to put on the classroom catalog, and then used like kind of the prompts to then go deeper and create these mini modules. So I'm going to go into this one since we're all now new hires at my fake company. And we're going to go in here and let's look at the first one. So GPT suggested that to put a welcome letter or a video from the CEO as like an intro. And I saw yesterday somebody shared that, you can make the, realistic people speaking and everything, which is really great. I am not experienced enough to do that, but I thought that was really cool. But for this, I just did the letter. That's where I'm at right now. But yeah, and this is the fictitious CEO of this company, Elliot iSpring, just welcoming everybody in the classroom. And like I said, using the company website is a really great resource for building ideas for the outline. So here it's like company history, so a timeline. And then I use the flashcards tool that iSpring Learn has to then kind of give this information about the timeline. And what I like about the flashcards and a lot of the tools that iSpring Learn has is you can break up your content. So it's not just like a wordy page and, people who are going through it get bored very easily. It's nice to have that kind of break. And then they also have the quote tools. So you can really highlight, certain talking points or like your mission statement. Same with the vision statement here. Go in here. And then this I really like too is the text on image. So I used it in this instance for, core values. And it really, you can change the filter color of the photo and really make those core values pop. And once again, all this content was built just with AI and going back and forth with it. And then I'm going to take you to one more module. Here. Okay, part 2. So industry and impact. I just wanted to share that you can use, you can embed videos into your content, and, short form video content is king. A lot of people prefer this method of receiving information. So it's good to kind of break it up and have some, video content in there as well. And so this is kind of what that looks like. And then I'll share a couple more things in here. I wish that I had like L&D expert right now to ask, because I read somewhere that putting information on flashcards, like when you put the information on the flashcard later on, when you're recapping at the end of your module, you want to also put it in a different format, like a writing format. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, okay, let's ask in the chat. Say, sure, there are so many e-learning experts who will be able to give their comment on that. So let's see what they have for us. And you can continue, and I'll collect the answers and share with you later.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks. I'm just curious because I thought that was very interesting, to reinforce it maybe. I don't know. Okay, and then the last page I'll show just for these intro modules is just an idea I had. If your company has white papers or case studies, you can create images, and then you can put a link to your image that will take you directly to whether you have a public-facing company, share folder, or your website. You're basically directing new hires and new learners to that content itself. And so, some people might ask, like, why don't you go directly to the website and tell people to read things there? And I just say that a website has a different use case than a learning and development classroom, in that, the end users are different. And also a website is more constructed to, for sales or to attract investors to the site, or maybe partners. Whereas an internal L&D platform, the user is your, fellow employees. So it's definitely curated differently. It's built to help people process the information in order to retain it, versus a company website that might not be the ultimate goal, to have people memorize things or, break it down in that granular level like a classroom does. So that's my perspective on that, why you wouldn't just send them to a company website and say, memorize this, because it's not constructed in a way that's for that, in my opinion. Okay. So before I get into the products and services training, this was really cool that I discovered as I was kind of building out the classroom, and I really like this. I just want to talk about an idea really quick about creating some video content that you might already have that might be an hour to an hour and a half long, and you're not quite sure how to refurbish that. One idea is, like, we're on Zoom now. There's a lot of video conferencing platforms, and they have AI integration. And a lot of that AI not only transcribes, your calls, but it can also create smart chapters. And the smart chapters will show the minute marks where that particular smart chapter is, with the description of what was discussed at that point in the video. So what you can do is, I'm sure there are services you can pay to basically, upload the video and have it do this for you, but I haven't seen any that are free. So we're going to go with what we have. And so I would just say, set a meeting with yourself, share your screen, share the volume, record it. With the AI feature, it will break that recording that you've already had into the smart chapters. You can then create, for anyone that's used iSpring, Learn, or any way you want to do it, you can then create a page, and then on each section of the page you can put that short video at the top of your page, and then put the smart chapter summary underneath. And you can do that for each page, so that instead of having somebody sit through an hour to an hour and a half long video, you can actually, have them just look at the different topics on the, left-hand column, and they can go to the subject matter that they're most interested in learning about, and only have to watch a few minutes as opposed to the full video. Okay. And then here, this was just kind of another thing I used, GPT to come up with, the different products. And so this section here, and this is what I really like about iSpring, is they have this capability where you can create a whole experience going in. And so this is what I mean by breaking down information silos, is you can create mini modules. So if you have this product, to quickly, go over what this is. You can also link out documents. This is just kind of a fake document that I linked out, but it can just take you directly there. Or you can link directly out to whatever resources that you have. And, that's important because a lot of teams in companies, they use different platforms. They have different ways that they save their information. So it's a really nice way to kind of put everything in one place and link out. And you don't have to necessarily worry about, like, if you don't want certain people accessing certain, platforms or, folders or whatever, it takes you to the link. The link will take you there, but you might need like a password to access. But it's just really great from, a higher level perspective, is just to see kind of what everybody's working on all at once. And then if you have a new hire that you're training and you want to get them quickly, up to speed on your products or services, you can have like videos and demos here that they can just run through themselves if they, need to learn about that. And then any kind of, documents, materials, so technical specification sheets, or if you have any sales materials, that can all be housed here. And then workspaces. So what platforms are teams using? Is it Figma? Is it, Asana? Is it Basecamp? What, it can all go here. And then any kind of white papers and case studies as well. And so I just really like this feature. For some reason, aesthetically, like this works for me. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think too. And okay, so now I'm going to take you to another feature that I really like, is the news feature. And so I really like this because now you've just changed the classroom into kind of a culture hub. And so now there's more to just coming in and taking modules. You get an experience. And so I like the news feature because now you can direct employees to different articles that are related to your industry all in one place. And what's really cool is like these will create pages. And then what you can do is the page is you can have the article, populate, the link can show up there like embedded, or you can share the image from the article, put a brief summary of the article, and then link directly to open it. And it will take you right there. And then another thing is you can put company announcements and like team newsletters directly in this platform. And I think that's really great feature to have. It's this way you're not flooding if you have Slack, like you're not flooding the Slack channels with a bunch of announcements. So it's actually pretty great. And then the last thing I'll share on this portion here is the knowledge base. So the knowledge base I really like as well. And I asked GPT to kind of give me a list of things that employees would need to be knowledgeable about if you're a new hire and you're just kind of, getting used to the company. And it gave me ideas of things to put into different folders. And what's really great about these folders is you can either directly upload documentation, or once again, you can link out. And I love that feature because it's super helpful, because we don't just all use one platform. That's not realistic. So it's really great to have that available. And so all of these folders here. So if I'm a new hire and I'm like, oh, I need IT support, here, boom, it's right there. I really like that feature. And then now I'm going to kind of show the back end. One last thing that I know April really liked. And this, if you've used iSpring before, you know that when you create, your pages and your like for your modules, let me show you. When you go to the general portion, you're adding in, your title, maybe a subtitle, some description of what this is, how long this takes to run through. And then I use the tag section. A lot of people use that more to say what the subject matter is. I used it more as like a way to maintain your classroom content. So it's like, okay, who was the last person to update this classroom? And when was the last time it was updated? And then what company materials were used while making this? And I think this is really important because a lot of times when people are trying to maintain, database or, platform, they'll house all this information on an Excel document that's lost in the corporate ether somewhere. So it's really good that this is available and I just kind of had this in this way just because then it's right here and you won't lose it. And then it's really nice. So if your team decides that you now want to, make sure that you're updating content biannually, you can then go into your classroom and search for, any content that was created. Like, let's say it's biannually, it's Q3 2024. You can now go search for things that were, created in Q1 and Q2 2024. So it's a really nice way to make sure that you're maintaining the database. And that, let me see if I can go back to the slides here. Oh, wait. I don't know why it's like not letting me reshare the slides,
No
but
worries. Take your time. You still have several minutes to make sure it works well.
Yeah, what I want to say too is like, a year ago, I was creating the trial, for iSpring, and it's just really cool that, today I'm here and I'm presenting. And so like, everybody that's watching today, you could be here, a year from now. And it's just, the experience that I had, working with iSpring, from the initial setting up the demo, the team reaching out, it was a very positive experience. And, April's great as well. And every person that I've been in contact with throughout my experiences just made it such an enjoyable one. And so I just, can't express how much I really, love iSpring and I love, your classroom content and your products and everything. So, yeah, I think we can open the floor up to some Q&A if that's okay. Oh,
yes, thank you so much, Kay. I really, really appreciate that. And your sweet words in the end, so heartwarming. Appreciate that. So let's get down to Q&A. But before we do, I would love to just say that there were some comments about the flashcards. And there were some different opinions, and people were suggesting quizzes after flashcards are offered, and then rewriting the content on the flashcards so that the content is a bit different or is reworded. But there was generally no big rejection of that. So, right.
It's really interesting because, like, all right, there are people who are really experienced in the chat. I was just a new employee in search of just a solution to share educational content. And this, whole industry is just so interesting as I'm like learning more about it. So I'm going to actually go back and like reread the chat after this at some point.
Yes, please do. Yeah. I'll just ask a very quick question. How much time did it take you to prep the things that you have shared with us today?
To be honest, the content itself, super easy, because I have been doing this back and forth with GPT for like months and months on end for other, projects. That was easy. The actual like creating the images actually took more time than it did to actually create the, module content. And also this is a fictitious company. So, you don't have to really, go as deep as you would if it was your actual company, so I would say it was pretty quick. But when I was working at the previous company that I was working at, building out that content did take a little bit longer. And it's only because it's important to really do your due diligence and make sure that that content is accurate and it's current and it's updated. So like that's a whole thing. And then, making sure that you're getting all the information from the different teams as well takes time. So,
right.
Yeah.
There's another question from a user whose nick I would never be able to pronounce because this is just a combination of letters. So, Kay, how did you come up with this idea about tags? That's a real treasure.
To be honest, okay, so if we go back in like my work history, at one point, this is before pandemic, I decided that I was going to work 100% virtually as an EA, and it was kind of unheard of at the time. And so in order to start, you had to have like multiple client accounts. And so I had to work with multiple businesses at once. So it was multiple executive teams. So I'd have like 2 hours with this team, 4 hours here. And each company used different platforms. And when I was first starting out, I knew some of the platforms, but I didn't, know them all. But I would just say, yes, I know how to use them. And then I would go on, YouTube and look at demos, or like go and, create a demo myself and run through it. And so really what I was doing is looking at all the bells and whistles that that every platform possibly had, because I wanted to then become the resource, so that then I would stay with those teams and grow with those teams and like build my accounts up. So it's like the concept, I'm not really quite sure where, but it's just like I was just playing around with it, and I just, got to the tag section, and it just kind of came, I was like, oh, this is great.
Right. So there are lots of words of appreciation in the chat about that. And if you don't mind, we are running out of time, or are running out of time already. And I know you need to rush as well. Just a very last quick thing. Did we miss the sharing of the AI newsletters mentioned in the beginning?
Oh, I sent April
in the handouts.
Yeah, they're in the handouts.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Super.
Yes, check them out. They're really, really great. And I'm like, I love having them come in daily, because like I said, like, as we all know, this industry is, moving so quickly, but it's nice to have these newsletters, and you can kind of scan through it, and they're entertaining, and I really enjoy them.
Super. Yeah, we have the link already sent. Just wanted to double check that they're found there. All right. Cool. That's super. Okay. Wish you the very, very lovely end of Friday and a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for being with us. If you are able to reconnect later for the end of the session after whatever your plans are for today, feel free, because we still have many sessions coming up. It's a very long conference day today. So appreciate again, a lot of your input has been extremely, extremely helpful. And I would say all of it has been very insightful. So let's look forward to some more meetings within iSpring and maybe beyond.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much. And, thank you to everybody at iSpring. And April, I know you're in the chat somewhere. Thank you so much, because she is absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you.
Bye.